Hello and welcome to the latest episode of From the Horse's Mouth. As you know, we interview some of the local businesses in and around the Warrington area, predominantly in Culcheth where we're based. And today I've got Sara from Black Sheep Wools in Culcheth. So, hi Sara.
Hi there, you all right?
I'm all right, yeah. If you don't know Black Sheep Wools already, let me just tell you now, it's an independent company that set up originally in Culcheth, actually above our offices on the parade at CPS. Now they've got one of the largest, in fact, it is the largest yarn shop or wool shop. If you're old school in the UK, they ship internationally, worldwide. And we're here to talk to her about how the business has grown, what's happened throughout lockdown, and what she's doing and her team are doing as well to go forward throughout this. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Sara. She's got some words to say and she's done some amazing stuff. I've had a with her. And we're going to go through this now and let's tell everybody a little bit about the business if you don't know already, and maybe a catch up if you do know them already. So Sara, I'm going to hand it over to you, my darling.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you ever so much for that. It's good to see you.
And thank you. Yeah, you to actually see people is nice.
Yeah, it is. Well, I'm used to seeing you around the village, but not so much lately. So, yeah, well, thank you for that. And yet we are the largest yarn shop in the country. And I don't know whether the people of Culcheth recognise that or not. I don't know.
I didn't know that you were the largest. I knew you were a big outfit and I knew you do some good stuff, but I didn't know personally until you told me that.
I'm just going to squeeze myself up a little. That's better.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm only 5'2", so I need to sort of bring myself up a little bit.
I'll get you an apple box if you want.
Thank you. Yeah, we are. We've been in Culcheth since about 1983, 84. Yep. My mum set it up, and they then went on to have 7 shops, I think, around the northwest. So we were in Sale, we were in Wigan, Southport, all over the place. And then over the last 15 years, they consolidated everything into what we know as the craft barn here at Partridge Lakes. Yeah. We have brown signs. We are a place of interest.
That's right, yeah.
Which quite often you see it
went up. I remember you telling me years ago, actually.
Oh, yeah, the only problem is now that I think people now see it if they're walking home from the pub at night, whatever they do, quite often are spun round to the wrong direction, sending people across the field. So, yeah, it's been an interesting sort of, 12, 14 months we are now, aren't we? Oh. Can you see me, Dave? Because I've just lost you.
You're still there, darling. You're still there.
Hang on, I'm there. I can see you now.
Yeah, there we go. We're in.
Yeah, so it is a bit sorry about that. Dave's realising now that my tech's not that great today, so apologies.
Honestly, mine's not that great, to be honest. I just fluke it, to be fair.
So, yeah, we are the largest yarn shop in the country. We've got the craft barn. We, not in normal times, and I think we all use that phrase quite a lot now, we traded on 3 different levels. We had our shop. We did retail shows all over the country, and that's probably been the biggest change to my personal lifestyle, that I'm not in a van going up and down the motorway. And we did online as well, and online was good for us. But thankfully for us as a business, we were selling something that people wanted through lockdown. You know, food, craft stuff. If you speak to any craft retailer over the last 12 months, we'd been preparing for this for a long time. We'd all got a lot of stash to use up as well. So yeah, when lockdown first seemed to be happening, it was a scary time, as it was for every local business owner. Scary time for our team. It's all very well having a good business, but it only lasts so long when there's no money coming through the door.
True.
So we initially weren't sure what was going to happen. We sat down with the team. We discussed everybody's financial commitments and what we could do to work together. We have a phenomenal team here. And over the last 12 months, I get emotional when I talk about this, because honestly, they've been amazing. We've got a team of people here who've gone from working in a yarn shop. Yeah. And I don't think they mind me saying that a lot of the team that work in the yarn shop are ladies of a certain age. Of which I class myself as a lady of a certain age as well. And these teams went from working in a nice warm yarn shop to picking orders upstairs in a freezing cold warehouse and, doing post pick. So the team have been phenomenal. But yeah, we were lucky. We closed the shop relatively early on. Prior to the shop closing, we'd put a bit of a clarion call out to our customers to just say, look, this is going to be tough. But we're here, and anything you want from us, if you want to email us, we'll always email you back.
Yeah.
You want to phone, we'll always phone you back. If you want to chat to us in the shop before the shop closes, we'll do that. And one lady in particular asked to see me.
Yeah.
And I went and sat in the tea shop and I had a coffee with her, which seems even strange now that you'd go and have a coffee with a stranger. And she was really upset. She was going home. She was clinically vulnerable. She was going home to isolate. She didn't know how long for. She lived on her own. And she just said, look, the videos and newsletters that you do are my lifeline at the moment. And that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
And from then on, we did, through the first lockdown, I did a daily video.
Yeah.
Just a catch up. A lot of times it was what I'd had for my tea.
Yeah.
You know, what I was having for my lunch, because food became all important, what we'd been doing in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So we sort of really ramped up our social media, as I know a lot of the local businesses did. It was so important to give you that touch point.
Yeah.
And as I said, so that was what I was doing. And then the staff, we closed the shop down and our orders had gone, our shop had been busy pre-closure with people stocking up.
Yeah.
Online went a lot busier. And we weren't set up to do the level of online business that we were doing, which was difficult and brought a whole new level of challenges, really. And as I say, the team here, was even logistically bringing the stock in and what do we do with it? And Stephen and I worked with my brother Stephen, and we'd sat down, as I say, with everybody, and we'd split ourselves into two teams. To cope with the level of online orders that were coming in, we needed, and to keep social distancing, we needed to turn into a 7-day delivery operation.
Yeah.
So we split into team A and team B. Much as Stephen's discussed, my team was team A. We didn't like that. And we literally did one of you would work 4 days one week, and then the other team would do 3 days, and then we'd swap the week after. Near enough everybody retrained. I became chief packer on our side of the business. Stephen was goods in on his side, and everybody from the ladies that worked in in the craft barn to the warehouse guy we'd already got, everybody really came together and made it work. We took on a couple of new people, which was we took on my nephew, who was a student, 20, and he brought a whole different element of hilarity to the whole thing. And then one of his mates, and again, just that dynamic. And the dynamic of the company changed a lot, because we never used to have lunch together or anything, because people in the shop were on different shift patterns and different lunch breaks and so you'd see people in passing, but you never actually stopped and chatted. Whereas what we found with this was the only social outlet that we all had as well. You want to chat to people, you chat to your colleagues now, don't you? So as a team over the last 12 months, we've become a lot closer. We've had a lot of fun. We've had, when it was nice in the summer, we had the ice cream van here on Monday. We'd have the ice cream van, or the chip shop in Culcheth love us, because we now put through the big, like 60 and 70 pound fish and chip orders on a Friday and so on. Very much, I think, a bit like you with your guys, very much believe an army marches on its stomach.
That's it. We do. Oh God, mine are well fed. They'll call me a feeder in the office, because I'm all, come 11 o'clock. Oh, what should we have for lunch today? Should we go out for lunch? Should we get we did get a little bit like that. So first lockdown was really odd as well, because then you'd got a lot of friends and so on that are furloughed and weren't working, and we were really busy. And all these people kept, they'd say, I'm walking past, come out and wave, and they'd have a really good suntan. And we'd only seen the inside of the warehouse, etc. But like I say, from a sales point of view, so we tried to give the customers back. We tried to give them things to make with us, give them a reason to join in with us. We launched, we worked very closely with quite a few famous designers, and some of the patterns that we'd got, some old patterns we'd got of theirs, which were paid for patterns, we turned into free releases, we recolored. So initially we all made this together, which is the impromptu crochet blanket that we recolored. Knitting's really good therapy. And knitting with colours can be really good for the mind, and it can be really good for anxiety as well. So we wanted to make sure people harness that. So we did this blanket. We did another really bright knitted blanket. We did kits for them, but then it was also, you don't have to buy a kit. The pattern's free. Make it with us. We have a Facebook make-along group with about 12,000 people in it now. It's grown a lot through lockdown. Got a huge following.
And every 6... we do. Knitting is one of those things, it's massively social. I will. So we were chatting earlier about people's perception of knitters.
Yeah.
And invariably, and you see it on TV all the time, that it's your grandma sat at home and she's knitting in the corner quietly. Yeah. Knitting's not like that anymore. Knitting is massive on social media. There are loads of knit-alongs. There are lots of opportunities for people throughout the world to come together.
Yeah.
So we did these make-alongs through the whole of lockdown, and we've just culminated in our biggest ever knit-along is happening at the moment.
Okay.
And that's called A Day Out, Cal, and that's been designed by a really famous designer called Sarah Hatton, who I was gobsmacked when she said that she would design something for us. It's like getting one of United's team to play for your Sunday pub team.
That's amazing.
And we, yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. We're in week 10 of it now, but what we did with that one, and say this has been our sort of biggest make-along to date, because people couldn't go out, and we wanted to teach them new skills as well. And one of the things with all the make-alongs that we do is we're trying to upskill people.
Yeah.
Knitting is one of those things that you never stop learning at. Michelle Obama's took it up through lockdown.
Yeah.
And she said that, you know, once you've knitted the hat, yeah, you want to learn to knit socks, then you want to learn to knit a blanket. And knitting is like that. There's all and crochet. Yeah. I tend to use the term sort of inclusively. So we've done this called A Day Out, and it's a journey through knitting techniques.
Okay.
So you buy a kit, but the pattern again is free. And each week we teach you a different technique. And then we sat and thought, well, what can we do to make that? You need to give these things a little bit of a hook so people get more enjoyment out of it. So we've done a day out around our local villages. Right. And every week we do a different road. So this week is Common Lane.
Yeah.
We've done a video about the history of Common Lane.
Yeah.
And I've actually been out and filmed videos on it's across 10 weeks, and I've filmed a video on every lane around the villages for 10 weeks and looked into the history of the lanes and so on. And I've lived here for most of my, and we moved here when I was 3 from Hyde in Manchester.
Yeah.
And apart from 5 years in London, I've always lived in these villages. Yeah. The things I found out about Croft, Culcheth, Winwick, Glaisbury over the last few weeks has been incredible.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. 109 Egyptian children who were refugees in the Suez crisis went to St. Lewis's school in Croft in the 50s.
Really?
Exactly. It's bonkers. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, listen, I'm driving my husband mad because we go out on walks. I'm good. Did you know?
Yeah.
But it's getting. But it's
no. Leave me alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you know when that church was built? I'm currently researching Middleton Lane in Winwick for the video this afternoon. So.
Yeah. Perfect.
But we've been able to really harness the community that came into the shop. We've been able to harness them online.
Yeah.
And I think that's been.
Sorry, I was going to say, is it? Do you have a huge following locally because of the shop?
Huge. The support we got from the local customers while we were doing all this. Well, we do have a huge amount locally, but we also get people that travel an awful long way to us.
Yeah.
But the local support has just been fantastic. We've had a lady who drops cakes off every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Through lockdown, she dropped off a Victoria sponge and a coffee and walnut cake a few weeks ago to keep us going.
Yeah.
Somebody else dropped off homemade peppermint foot lotion.
Okay.
To keep us up. Yeah, because we were wondering, she made it all herself.
Yeah.
And we receive gifts from them, which has just been amazing, biscuits and all sorts of stuff to say, thanks for what you're doing, thanks for keeping us going.
Well, they'll see you as friends, I take it, as well, because of the connections you have and the coffee shop that's there, and these people are coming in all the time. They love having a little chin wag with you as well. It's not about buying the products and doing the knitting. It's it's a social social time for them, I would imagine, and I bet you've become really close to a lot of the clients, haven't you, over the years?
I have a lady. I'll call her Joanne, who's in Canada. And Joanne and I, we've never met. We email at least once a week, and it can be about something. And it's just from her replying to newsletters and so on, because we do have quite a big international base of customers as well. And that was difficult through lockdown because international delivery stopped for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But those people, thankfully, have come back to us and ordered since we've started it back up again as well. And one of the joys of the last few weeks has been seeing our regulars in the shop.
Yeah, but it has.
Oh, the first day we have 2 ladies, Edna and Janet, who are phenomenal and just have me howling with laughter every time they came in. And there was a real joy around the shop. And there was a whisper going around the office, Edna's been in, she's okay.
Yeah, she's all right.
Because as well, a lot of our customers are older, so you do worry that, you know, they've paid the main penalty for COVID. Yeah. You do worry, are these people going to be coming back to you?
That's it, yeah. Yeah, I bet there's a few times you've wondered, oh, should I give them a quick call and just check, are you all right, you know?
Yeah, I say, yeah, there's been a couple of scary moments, and it's been a real joy every time we've been able to open the shop up, for as long as it's been able to open up, to see these people coming back to you as well. And what we took the reopening of the shops really seriously as well, so we've had it steam cleaned before we've been open and so on, to make those people feel safe. Yeah. And that's been nice feedback, that a lot of people say, well, it's the only place I've been to because it's the only place I feel safe to come to, and that's great.
Yeah, well, they know, don't they? They know that all the measures are being taken care of, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I say it has been it's just been an unusual time. We're really missing the shop. We're really missing the workshops.
Yeah.
And we also
opening.
We're planning workshop. The shop's open. The tea shop will open 17th of May. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But with social distancing, which it's not a huge tea shop, so that's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
And then hopefully workshops. We're not looking until really September for workshops.
Yeah. So people are saying, once you know, because it's just nobody knows right now, do they? That's the
no.
thing. And I suppose you don't want to give false promises to people because, you know, I'm sure based on the conversation we've had and what we've talked about today on here, you know, it'd be quite important for these people. They'll want to come out and they'll actually look forward to these classes, because I would imagine, because of the demographic of your ideal customer base, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, they'll want to come out. That'll be their social interaction for the day, and they'll look forward to going and meeting the other girls and the women, other men, or whoever else comes in. And
it's so therapeutic. Yeah, and I said there's a huge amount of research into how beneficial crafting in general and knitting and crochet specifically are for your mental health. And we do a lot of knit and natters, and did a lot of workshops, and we did a lot of event days pre-lockdown. And they were really important, like you say, for the customers. We know there were people that came to our knit and natter group, and for some of them, it's the only trip out every week.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because particularly if you struggle in social situations and so on, being able to go somewhere where you only have to talk about what you've made, is quite easy, because no one's asking about you.
Yeah.
Because realistically, a knitter's more interested in what's on your needles than, you know, how your Saturday night was. They are. So that's been good. And there was also the team are looking forward to getting back to normal as well. Like I said to you earlier, the team have just been amazing, and they have spun on a sixpence. We'll get an announcement at night time. They will come in the next morning, and it's like, right, you're a packer in the warehouse, and it's January and it's -3, and we've no heating, and we've got a metal roof. I mean, it's been,
girls, because we're doing it today.
Yeah, exactly. But that is what they've been like. They've all stepped up. We furloughed a couple of people. We furloughed, thank God for the furlough scheme. Yeah, we furloughed a couple of people who were perhaps felt they were more vulnerable and weren't comfortable working.
That's fair enough.
You know, who we didn't really need, and it was like, well, you know what, we can. If we need to furlough somebody, you'd be the right person. And then the team in the tea shop were furloughed as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been, as a team, we've come out of this a lot closer.
Yeah.
And a lot more understanding of what everybody does as well. So.
Well, I suppose it's been good for you, because there's the amount of times, I mean, and I know that I'm guilty of it myself. I've done every single job that there is in my office.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest now, half of it I forgot. You know? Yeah, and it's nice sometimes just to go back to the basics. And what I found is, if you do go back to the basics, with the business, the owner's brain on top of it, you can actually start to see where things have potentially gone wrong in the past, how you can adapt and fix it, and then push forward with it. And just that respect from the other staff to say, do you know what? I know Sarah normally sits in a high tower saying, oh, girls, can we get this out? Can we get this? Down here now, she's doing it. She knows what it's like. And I suppose you would even sympathise a bit more with certain situations that that's where I've said, look, get this done. It's dead easy, blah, 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 blah. It might be to me because I know how to do it. But to somebody who's experienced, it's like, shit, this is like a hell of a lot of stuff. How is that going to be done in an hour? You know, And I think it's great when you do stuff like that.
The real I became packer for our team. I was the main packer, so I was in there every day. And it was, we had the radio on full blast. It's the only social life you've got, so we made sure, we were really keen that everybody would come to work and still enjoy it. But I realized that the packer is always doing this to get the bags, and I'm thinking, by 2 days of that, my back is absolutely gone. I'm saying, this can't be any good. So we reorganized it. Reorganize things that maybe they've just not felt able to stick their hand up and say, well, do you know what, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that became good. And I say the videos that we did went from strength to strength. They've calmed down a bit. The first lockdown, they were every day.
Yeah.
Now I do one probably every other day.
Yeah.
And they've been I think I've been fascinated by how much they've started to mean to people.
You do. It's amazing how much. Even when we start doing these, I've said from the start, I'll continue doing them while people keep watching them, and we get private messages about how, it's great. I love hearing these stories. People are subscribing to watch these stories with businesses. It's great at the moment because it's a very micro climate that we're working in. We're literally just doing Culcheth at the moment because it's weird, and I just thought it'd be great for everybody to have a platform that they can share their voice on. Locally we do pretty well on social media, and I thought it'd be nice to tell the stories. And also it's good for us to know. One of the other reasons is, selfishly, I like to know everything about everybody's business. So when I'm my clients, I'm educated on, oh, you do knitting, do you? Well, actually, a friend of mine down the road owns Black Sheep Wools.
Yeah.
Give her a call. And that type of thing, it does.
Well, I think you guys you're phenomenal at pushing the local community as well. I mean, the things that you guys share that have nothing to do with property, houses, etc., but are just about the community is amazing.
That's it. We try our best, because we are a small little village, and community spirit is. I've always felt that it's been pretty good here, but it's shown me a lot more throughout lockdown, and the conversations I've had direct with other people, business owners, company, whatever it is. And I do think you should, I think it's nice. It doesn't cost me anything to do this, a bit of my time, and, and just to share when I see something good, share it. We're constantly sharing other people's, other businesses' posts and everything else, any success stories people are having, and why not? Why not do it?
Yeah, I think the social media thing through lockdown has been really interesting. I love the chat you did with Ian from Brunch. My go-to sandwich shop. I love the team in there. They're just fantastic. And the way he did the recipes and so on at the beginning of lockdown, so you could have a bit of brunch at home, which was superb. And then as soon as I knew they were open again, we were all right, well, we'll go there and get sandwiches and so on. Because you just want to support those. And I do think there's been a real shift as well to supporting independence.
Yeah, I think so. We're about to launch a new campaign shortly. It may be out by the time this video gets out onto it. But, it's all about the community spirit. We've actually got a checklist that we're going to send out as part of this this project that we're doing at the moment. We're going to include all the local businesses that we currently deal with. Anybody that we've missed out, jump on it with us. It's no problem. And we're going to send out little checklists, and it's like spend £5 locally this week. Even if it's just a coffee. Try and spend it in an independent as opposed to a corporate, and try and do this. There's loads of little things, little checklists. Why don't you go to the park? Recommend our village to one of your friends. Just little things. And look, I know no one's going to walk around and fucking tick this sheet off, but on the same token, what will happen, I'm hoping, is this will just plant a seed in somebody's brain when they are walking through the village. Instead of potentially going co-op and getting or the garage and getting a Costa coffee, look, go and use Ian's shop, go and use Cafe Pacino, there's loads of independent little businesses that spend that money with, and trust me, it means the world to these businesses.
It's just
and it doesn't have to be a lot. It keeps them going. It really does.
It's so important. I mean, I try and do as much as I can in the village, and I do think it is really important. It's keeping that that Facebook thing that you always see, that when you support a local business, you're not paying for, somebody who never actually goes in and does a day's work in there for their big bonus, etc. You're paying for horse riding lessons, new school uniform, etc. And we're lucky in the village with the number of shops that we've got. Yeah,
we are. It's a great village, and to be fair, do you know what? It's a very it's a strange village, Culcheth, to be fair. When I've been doing these interviews, I knew there was some decent businesses around here and some decent business owners, but when you start actually digging a bit deeper, wow. There is some industry that goes on. Not involved. I mean, it's like I speak to a couple of my friends, and one of them does perfume, and he's the biggest perfume distributor in the whole of Europe. Lives in Culcheth.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. There's another guy who does the shipping. He's one of the largest shipping companies in the UK, and he deals with all the big boys. He's in Culcheth.
See, you sound like me now. I'm doing this history thing. Yeah. I have been on the phone to different people and saying, your family name's on this. Did you know that you donated that organ to that church in such a thing and all the rest of it? And Culcheth is an unusual place as well, because it is, like I say, we're a small village and everybody knows everybody else.
Yeah, we're all friends. I mean, I've known you for years and years. And
years,
you know, and yeah, we do. Everyone kind of knows everyone, and it's nice that we're helping out. I'll tell you what, I was really, I was going to say surprised then. It's not surprised. I was really pleased to hear. You've obviously jumped on these videos, and one of the things that you did, and you mentioned it to me earlier, was the fact that the knitting and your industry is great for mental health. Tick, get that, no problem. Yeah. What you did was that step further, and it's quite nervous to be doing this, I would imagine, for you. And you went on and did a video diary of how you felt and how your mental health was throughout this pandemic and lockdown, and sharing your stories and what can, you know, what you found helped you and stuff. Explain a little bit of that, because I think that's like, take some balls that to do that. It really does.
Well, so I did a lot of videos anyway, but they prior to this, but they were always, you know, this. We used to have a semen videos that were Sara, what's in your bag, because I was notorious for having a bag next to my sofa with various knitting projects in that I'd never finished.
Yeah.
And I'd bring a bag out and I'd have forgotten what was in there.
Yeah.
And it became a bit of a standing joke amongst some of our suppliers, because I used to find things in the bottom of the bag. So I think I found some chocolate. Somebody said to me, I've never seen you so happy as when you found that bar of chocolate. So I did them anyway. And I say then this lady just really got to me. So yeah, I started to do a sort of daily, and I say it was, you know, we're in the warehouse, we're doing this. I had, I don't know, Thai curry for tea last night. I'm in the garden, and they were very much me, how I was at that time. So often they were in the garden after finishing a shift here, and I was tired and I'd got no makeup on, but people didn't care. And it was almost a regular check-in.
Yeah.
And as much as it wasn't interactive, they felt like I was checking in, and I felt like I was checking in with the customers. And yeah, they grew into something a bit bonkers at one point last summer. Yeah. Some of the videos were getting sort of 10,000 views at a time. Now I have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old, and they couldn't quite come to grips with the fact that their mum had become an influencer. And I'm going, yeah, but it's not, I'll tell you to buy a ball of yarn, but there won't be. Yeah.
As much as the Nana. Nana's like a YouTube superstar, isn't she?
My mum is superstar, yeah. She'll probably brain you for calling her Nana though, Dave, I will say.
Sorry,
yeah.
Grandma.
But you know that she has over 1.2 million views. Wow. How to knit Rico Can-Can. And it was based, my mum set the business up 30 years ago and did an awful lot of YouTube, etc. And I've just followed in her footsteps, but it has become a marketing channel on its own. We used to do them in addition to other stuff. And, you know, I'd do one maybe if we'd got a new product to put on a newsletter and so on. Whereas they did, like I said, yeah, a total 10,000 views a time at one point last summer, which was a bit crazy.
It is.
Yeah. And lots of messages back from them. And I now have my own merch.
I know, I believe Sara made me do it, is it?
Yeah, the Make Along group like to blame me for all their purchases.
Yeah. What's that? A bag for life?
This is a bag for life, yeah. And then we also have little pin badges.
Yeah.
Knitters like their merch, they like things. And if you order from us, we're a small independent business. There's a lot of competition in the yarn market from huge companies that own TV companies, etc. Also own yarn retailing sites. And we need to give people a reason to buy from us. And we may not be the cheapest because we don't have as big a pockets as they do. So we do little things so we started as well just before lockdown, putting postcards in each order,
yeah,
which you then, our traditional customer may not be the most socially savvy. So we encourage them to put these. And so we have hashtag finish for Friday.
Yeah.
And on our Make Along group on a Friday, you show everything you've finished this week. Whip this way, which is work in project this way.
Right, okay, yeah.
So we gave those out, and then the hashtags became kind of a big thing. I'm not sure that as knitters we use our hashtags like influencers use their hashtags. I think I'm not sure we follow hashtags and so on, but we like to put them out there.
Yeah.
And then they came up with their own hashtag, Sara made me do it, because basically they blamed me for the fact every time I showed them something on screen, they, you know, some people would buy it and it'd all be my fault, which I'm fine with. So yeah, now we have our own merch and pin badges, which say my children are mortified about.
Well, they're too jealous. That's all it is.
Yeah, they are definitely jealous.
Nothing more than to be famous online and have their own merch. Let me tell you.
And I've done, yeah. Like I said, I mean, we don't, you know, in terms of other people, we don't get massive amounts, but people do like it, and they're very natural videos. And
I think it works better when it's natural. It's like, you know, again, I wear a t-shirt all the time. I'm not suited and booted. You know what I do. I don't mention business on here, but yeah, I'm not suit and tie. I wear jeans and t-shirt. This is me. You see me. If you saw me in a pub, I look like this. If you saw me walking a dog, I look like this. This is what I look like all the time. Yeah,
well, that's what we do. I have discussed maybe I can have my hair and makeup now done on the business, but they've said no so far. So yeah, you never.
You look all right. You look fine.
I need a glam squad before I go on.
Well, you get all the girls. I know you do logistics, Jenny. I know you pack the boxes. I know you go up the shelf. I need you to do my makeup before this video shoot.
Well, funnily enough, one of the things the videos really did, my mum and dad live in Portugal. So I haven't seen a huge amount of them in the last 12 months. And one of the things it really did with them was keep me in touch with them as well, because my mum would watch a video and we FaceTime loads. I speak to my mum every day. But they loved the videos. It was like, oh, I'm watching your video and so on. So for me, from a personal point of view, it kept me in touch with them as well. But only a mum would get away with this, because my mum was the only person who ever watched them and then phoned me up and should have done your hair. Or, have you put no makeup on? And it's like, no, mum, I've been packing orders in the warehouse. You should have done your nose.
No, honestly, I think, well, it's strange actually when you look at what you think. It's like we do different marketing all the time, and sometimes we look at the marketing and go, this is a killer. Oh God, everyone's going to ring up after this. Not a bloody phone call. We put something else out, which is just off the cuff. I did one yesterday, off the cuff. I only put a little picture on something, a few words, bang, the phone's hot. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I do think when things are just more natural, it's people see that. They can see when you're trying to polish it up and make it jazz and sing. And it's quite salesy sometimes when things are all jazzed. And when it's natural, like you do and what I try to do, I think it comes across a lot better, I think.
Well, I'm a knitter. I'm as fanatical a knitter and crocheter as anybody that buys from us. You know, I knit for 2 to 3 hours every single day minimum. I've got arthritis in my shoulder and my hands from doing too much of it, and I still won't stop. And I think that's what, and the team here are the same. The girls in the shop are exactly the same. We all go home and use our products every night. And I think that passion comes through as well. It's like you guys, you know, you are so passionate about what you do, and that comes out and people buy into that.
If I didn't like it, I wouldn't do it. I'm not here to it's not for the money that I do it. I do it because I thoroughly enjoy my job, and I do these because I enjoy it. I enjoy speaking to people. People seem to be watching them and enjoying them. We get some decent viewing numbers on them and comments, which is the nice ones, little phone calls off people.
People go the extra mile, don't they, and say thank you. We got some. I got a lovely card of a customer the other day, and I just think the effort to actually just write. She made me something as well, but to actually bother to send that through the post doesn't happen that often. An awful lot. And and we are a business, and we do have wages to pay, but it's nice to go that extra mile for customer, because hopefully now they'll come back to us. We're in that strange time now, aren't we, where people are just edging back out again. And
that's it. Well, hopefully, I mean, obviously we've been on now for. I'm mindful that we don't want to get on too long.
We were always going to chat for a while.
Yeah, we could talk for 2 or 3 hours. We'll close this down, and you know what? I think we'll do a catch up in a couple of months and do a second one and see how things are open once this cafe's open. But for now, for anybody who's watching this and you've managed to get all the way through it, fantastic. Thank you very much. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. But look, please do us a favour, if you are interested in learning a bit more about the arts and crafts, certainly on the crochet or knitting, then Sara is definitely the person you need to be speaking to, or her amazing team. And the excuse you've got to give yourself now is the cafe's open in the middle of next month. Go down, get a coffee, get a bit of cake, have a look what's going on. And you know what, if you want to spend a few quid and see what it's all about,
it'd just be great to see them.
be great to see them. But for now, have you got anything you want to add before we close this down, Sara?
No, I think we've chatted for long enough. I'm looking at the time. We've definitely chatted for long enough.
So look, that's it from me. Thank you for
thanks, Dave.
And Sara, honestly, I wish you, I don't need to wish you the best of luck. You've got a fantastic business, and people are coming to you because of the way that you do things and the way your company looks after the customers, the staff, and everything else. So thanks for joining me today. Sara did make me do this video, and yeah, thanks again. I'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.